We go through our whole lives thinking we're in the driver's seat, making all the big decisions. But what if I told you that you're not the driver at all? What if you're just a passenger? Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea that says the person you think you are isn't the real you.
So, let's just start with that huge question right there. Who are you really? I mean, think about the person you show the world, the you at your job, the you with your friends, the you that you see in the mirror. Is that person really calling the shots? The source material we're breaking down today says that for pretty much all of us, the answer is a hard no. All right, to even begin to unpack this, we have to get comfortable with a pretty wild idea from the get-go, and it's this: that feeling you have of being in control of your life, it might be just that, a feeling, an illusion. To get our heads around this, the source starts with the obvious stuff, right? Just think about the basics of your own existence. Your height, your parents, where and when you were born. All of these massive, life-defining things were decided for you. You had absolutely zero say in any of it. But okay, it goes way deeper than that. The text we're looking at claims that if you can consciously control even just 10% of your own habits and tastes, you are a massive exception to the rule. So if most of our life is just running on some kind of autopilot, you gotta wonder, who wrote the program? And that leads to the next logical question, doesn't it? You're probably thinking, okay, fine, I didn't choose my parents, but my day-to-day choices, my career, my hobbies, who I fall in love with, that's all me, right? Well, the source presents some pretty shocking evidence that suggests maybe not.
Just get a load of this. This is the case of the Ohio twins. They were separated right at birth, and they didn't meet again for 39 years. And when they did, the similarities were just unbelievable. Same kind of education, same hobbies. They even married two women named Linda, then divorced them and married two women named Betty. They named their sons James and vacationed at the exact same beach. I mean, come on. How is that even possible?
So according to the authors, this is not just some 1 in a billion coincidence. No, they say this is proof of something much bigger. It's evidence that our choices, our preferences, even the names of the people we're drawn to, aren't really ours. They're being guided by some kind of unseen, mysterious consciousness that's pulling all the strings.
This whole idea of a hidden consciousness pulling the strings brings us to the real heart of this philosophy. The idea that there isn't just one you. There are actually two versions of you, and believe it or not, they're in a constant, hidden struggle with each other.
Okay, so let's break it down. On one side, you've got what the text calls the false self. Think of this as your social media profile come to life. It's the actor playing a part, following a script, always trying to please other people. It's basically a temporary illusion. But then, on the other side, there's the true self. That's the hidden consciousness we were talking about. It's completely free, doesn't care about society's rules, and it's the only part of you that's actually real and permanent. And just to really hammer this point home, the author drops this little gem. 10 out of 9 people are fake. Now, obviously, that's not mathematically possible, and that's the whole point. The suggestion here is that almost everyone you meet is this fake version of themselves, and that the problem is so widespread it literally breaks logic. So, what is this false self, really? The source uses a pretty powerful metaphor. It's a biological robot. That's right, just a machine running on code that was written a long time ago. And its main purpose? Just to fit in, to perform its role in society without making any waves. And if we're all just biological robots running a pre-written program, well, you can see where this is going. If we're all just playing a part, then all of human society is basically just one giant performance, a massive play on a massive stage. The author really doesn't pull any punches here. They just come right out and say it. Everything you see in human society is fake. It's such a sweeping statement, isn't it? Every conversation, every law, every emotion you see someone express, it's all just part of the act. Nothing is what it appears to be.
And the source gives us some pretty relatable examples of this acting, right? And we've all seen it. Saying, I love you when you don't really feel it. Putting on a big smile for a boss you can't stand. Getting on your high horse and condemning people for doing things you secretly wished you could do. The argument is that this isn't just something a few bad apples do, it's what everyone does, all the time.
But why? Why are we all part of this huge collective charade? Well, the reason the author gives is pretty dark. It's because the truth would be absolutely unbearable. The comparison they use is a pig in a pen. The pig can be happy because it has no clue what's coming. If the actors in this giant play knew the whole script, if they knew the real truth, the whole system would just collapse into chaos and misery. So, if we're all just trapped on this stage, is there a way out? Is there any way to stop performing and actually find this true self? Well, the source says there is a path, but it also warns that it's an incredibly difficult one.
First off, freedom isn't like a light switch. You're either free or you're not. It's a spectrum, a ladder. At the very bottom, you've got plants. Then come animals. Then us, humans, with a bit more freedom. But at the very, very top, in a state of total liberation from this whole social script, you have what the author calls celestial immortals.
So how in the world do you climb that ladder? Well, according to this philosophy, it means you have to radically let go. You have to abandon everything that ties you to the play. Money, power, fame, the need for other people to like you, even core things like honoring your family. You have to get rid of all your fears and worries, and then, the final biggest step, you have to abandon the very idea of being a human actor.
And so, that brings us to the final, crystal clear conclusion of this whole idea. You can't find your true self while remaining human, because being human is the role you're playing. The only way to actually be free, to find the real you, is to transcend that role completely and become something more.
So, I'll just leave you with this one last kind of haunting question to think about. If your entire life, all your joys, your heartbreaks, your successes, was all just a pre-written script, and someone handed it to you right now, would you actually dare to read it? Definitely a lot to chew on. Thanks for exploring this with me today.